I noticed that you, my audience, wanted to watch a video about how to run Facebook ads for luxury brands. So here we go. I listened to you, and today we're gonna cover how to run Facebook and Instagram ads for a luxury e-commerce store. Enough talking, let's dive into this topic. Now, usually most videos you will see that they will talk only about the technical information such as how many campaigns, how many ads. I'm gonna cover that as well, but it's going to be most likely by the end of this video. First, we're gonna talk about things that actually will move the needle. Things that are sales-driven actions, things that most likely once you changed them, once you adjusted them, are going to have a much bigger impact onto your return on ad spend. First, let's talk about the offer. For someone to pay thousands of dollars for a product that usually can cost $50 to $100 from other lower end brands, we need to have a very high perceived value offer. And actually there is a triangle that covers how to create a high perceived value offer. And here we go. So this is what I call a high perceived value offer pyramid. Here we have in the middle solution mechanism, future problem, current problems, exclusivity on the right side corner, identity on the left side corner, and at the top authority. I'm gonna cover each particular thing. First, let's talk about problems. You have to list out all the current problems and also the future problems and come up with a solution mechanism for each problem. So for someone, right, to perceive your product very valuable, you want to solve multiple problems, because if you solve multiple concerns, they will see your offer 10x more important, 10x more valuable. So let's say, for example, let me give you a perfect example so you could understand what I'm talking about with coming up with future problems, current problems, and solution mechanism. Let's say that the current problem of one of our customers is they cannot find a good suit that matches with their personality. Well, this is the current problem. For the future problem that they might face with, and this is just one as an example, they will need to tailor that suit for their body. So as a solution mechanism, how can we articulate that and how can we solve that future problem and that current problem? Well, with a current problem, it's pretty simple. You just put out there your product, and assuming that you have a good design, a good product in this example, then most likely you're going to solve that current problem. And if you're just solving the current problem, that's okay. However, it's not gonna have a very high perceived value. It's gonna be valuable, but just at a certain point. So for the solution mechanism, what we could have is, let's say that we could articulate in our message that we can help them with tailoring as well after they get the product. And if you could package them with the product itself and you make this process easy and they perceive that it is easy and fast, now they will perceive your product much more valuable. Now, again, just an example, but you want to list out all the problems and all the solutions, and you want to address them throughout your ads, throughout your website, throughout your organic posts. So you have to be consistent with that. Here we're talking also about branding. Now, let's talk about authority. First, then we'll go also into identity and exclusivity. When we are talking about authority, we have to leverage third-party validation and celebrities. Now, if you're just getting started, it's quite difficult, right? And it does involve marketing budget. It does involve an investment to spend on getting celebrities, on getting endorsements. But I would argue and I would say that for luxury brands, this is crucial, because by having celebrities that are associated to your business, now again, your value is going to increase drastically in front of your customers' eyes, and of course that is going to increase your conversion rate. Let's talk about identity now. When we're talking about identity, we want to make subconsciously in the customer's mind a feeling that when they see your product, they say to themselves that this product, this brand is for me, is for my personality. For example, here we see from Burberry an ad. They say here, Burberry Hero, the perfume and the toilet. Now I'm not very good at probably this is French. So anyways, here we see that they say for men that offer a new take on masculinity. So when you use, pretty much this is the blueprint. You want to have your copy and then say for, and then afterwards you want to talk about the identity, the person, the target market, the ideal customer that you want to reach. So that being said, when you are creating your message, your ad copy, also on your website, in your description, make sure that you are adding also this identity. You talk to a specific target market. Don't try to talk to all people. Don't try to talk broadly, especially in the beginning, especially if you're just getting started. And even if you are making 5 figures per month, even 6 figures per month, I would still make sure to narrow down and be niche when it comes to the ad message. Now, I'm not talking about being niche with interest, narrowing down interest and lookalikes. Not talking about that. We're gonna talk about that very soon. But I'm talking about your ad message, how you are communicating to that particular audience. So the bottom line, make them feel that this is for them, for their personality. The third thing is exclusivity. When we are talking about exclusivity, we are talking about having a perception from the customer side that you have very limited numbers of products, and the moment when it is sold out, they cannot get that product for a long period of time. You have to understand from the psychological aspect, people want a product when they cannot get it or when other people have it. So exclusivity is helping us with this particular point. That being said, how you position your business, how you write your copy. Also, if you could incorporate exclusivity, I would highly recommend doing that. Now, from this pyramid that I've just talked about it, you don't actually necessarily need to have all these 6 particular things: authority, identity, exclusivity, and all these solution mechanisms, future problem, current problem. But you definitely want to make sure that you could have the things that are inside the pyramid. So the current problem, the future problem, and solution mechanism, this is a must, is mandatory. And then the other things from different corners of a pyramid, you could have 1 or 2. You don't need them, all of them, in order to have a high perceived value offer. If you're just getting started, probably I would recommend just focusing on 1 or 2. And then as you scale, as you're growing, now you could incorporate all the other ones. So next, let's talk about with the ad message. The ad message must appeal to the emotional side of the customer's brain. So we have the left brain and we have the right brain. When we're talking about the logical things, the rational, like mathematics, facts, statistics, we're talking to the left brain of our brain. And when we're talking about with emotions, imagination, we're talking about feelings, daydreaming. Now we're talking to the right brain. When we are selling luxury products, we want to talk to the right brain instead of a left brain. Because rationally, logically, like why would a person buy $2,000, $5,000 suit when they could buy for just $200? Now, of course, some logical things we could justify with better quality. Like if you think deep down and if you go through all these layers, it's not because of that they are buying the product. They're buying because of some emotional needs, some emotional desires. Maybe they want status, they want to enhance their public image in the society. That's the reason. Now, knowing that, you have to know your client. You have to make your customer research to find out those needs. So then eventually you could articulate that throughout your ads. That being said, now it's time to show visually what people will get. Next, I'm gonna play some videos and then we will kind of just go very quickly through those videos, because if I just go and explain each second, it's going to be a very long video. But just talking from the surface level, you'll understand a lot from those videos and what you could take and what you could implement for your luxury business as well. So let's take a look at those.
Every day amplified.
Well, that was an ad from Lamborghini Huracan, and here are a few things that grabbed my attention that I want to share with you. And also let me know in the comments below what you've learned from this particular video and what you've noticed from your particular video, because every single person will view this video differently from the identity that they are. Let me explain. If, like, let's say that I am into marketing, I could see different things from a person who is doing completely different things, who is not that interested in advertising. They will see just simply an ad, but I would see different psychological aspects that particular business is using. First of all, you could see throughout the entire video that they are showing the lifestyle of the customers that they want to get. By showing that the lifestyle, now the potential client, one who is interested in a Lamborghini, they will see themselves having the same lifestyle, and again it's going to match with their identity. If you remember, I talked about the identity, feeling that this brand is for me, this Lamborghini is for my personality. So other things than that is that somewhere in the middle we had a section where this model, this actor, is showing like some emotions of driving this Lamborghini. Let's play it one more time right here. Now, just looking at this section, what do you think is going to happen in that viewer's mind? They will think that actually I want that feeling as well. Having that emotions, that big desires, big emotional desires, that's what actually makes people motivated to go ahead, to take advantage, to work on themselves, and in this case, to go ahead and buy a Lamborghini. And this is why emotional benefits eat functional benefits at the breakfast. Now let me show you two more quick examples and then we'll go from there. So here we could see our two ad creatives, but what I want to take a look at is at some patterns. You'll notice that all of these brands were using extremely high quality videos. Most likely they're using some kind of DSLR cameras. They do not use an iPhone, which most likely for low-end brands, for brands with a low average order value, is going to be acceptable, is going to convert even better than high-end kind of content and things like that. But for luxury brands, you cannot be cheap. You cannot save money on video production and things like that, because it's going to decrease the perceived value of your products. People will discount your products. The impression is the first impression is extremely crucial. It's the cover of your book, and people judge a book by its cover, period. Now, let's talk about the account structure. This is pretty much what we're using. We only use two campaigns, one for testing, one for scaling. For testing, we use ad set budget optimization, and for scaling, we use campaign budget optimization. It is as simple as that. In fact, we use this kind of campaign structure for all kinds of brands, not only for luxury brands. So it is not a secret. I cannot be more transparent than that. And if you are trying to overcomplicate this thing, you are working on the wrong things. Like I said, this is not going to take your luxury brand from, like right now, let's say that you are making 1x return on spend to 2x by having the perfect account structure. It's not going to work like that, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the customer's needs, to their emotions, and by having the right account structure, you cannot convey that. You can only articulate the value of your products by having good creatives, messages, and offers, which we've mentioned so far. But just from the account structure perspective, this is what we use. Then for the scaling campaign, we use only one single ad set, and here we put a much higher budget, right, to spend on the winning ad creatives that we've tested in the testing campaign, which looks something like this. We have the testing campaign, and then inside the testing campaign we have multiple ad sets where we test new ad creatives on a weekly basis. Now, for the amount spent for daily budget, we usually put somewhere like $100 to $150 per day to spend on one ad set. Because if we just spend like $10, $20 per day, it's gonna take us weeks and months until we find out if an ad creative is working or not. We assess the results of each ad creative until it's spent at least 1x of your cost per purchase. If let's say that you need to spend $200, $300 to acquire a customer who is going to spend $1,000, $2,000, then make sure that each ad creative is going to spend at least $200 to $300 until you turn it off, or maybe you scale that up. But until then, just simply do not touch those ad creatives, because they might be the winning ones, but if you're turning them off very soon, in just a matter of hours, you will never find out if they are going to convert or not. And every single time when we see that an ad creative from the testing campaign is generating at least 2 to 3 purchases consistently, then we take that ad creative, we copy that ad, and we paste it in the scaling campaign. And pretty much we launch consistently in that scaling campaign new ads that they are proven that they've worked well in the testing campaign. We never actually launch completely new ad creatives that we have not tested in the scaling campaign, because in the scaling campaign we usually put a budget of $500 to $1,000 per day, and if they do not convert, then simply we're wasting their money. So that's why we first test and then we put them in the scaling CBO campaign. So that was all. And now if you are interested to get help with your marketing campaigns, maybe on Facebook, maybe on TikTok, depending on the platform that you are using, make sure to click on the link below and schedule a quick 30-minute strategy session with me. We'll go a little bit over your business to see if you are the right fit for us. You need to make at least $15,000 per month in revenue. If you are still not there, keep watching my videos, because here I provide free content that you could implement and take your business to those numbers. So then eventually you'll have the trust and the credibility to start working with a company like us. So that was it for now, and until next time, I will talk to you in my next video. Until next time, stay hungry and bye for now.